I made a video in the past talking about how I grew up on cowboy movies and how I got into martial arts movies. Um, and it may seem like I said that I didn't like cowboy movies or I didn't like westerns, but that's not the case. That's not what I meant to say. I meant that martial arts movies were kind of like that next step, or when I discovered martial arts movies because of my history of um, growing up on westerns, the impact that the martial arts movies made on me was bigger. But it doesn't mean that I hate them or that I don't want to, um, see them anymore. They're definitely a genre that I still enjoy. Not as much as I used to because there's not that much good cowboy movies anymore. Um, Also, it's one of these genres that wasn't brought along with the times, and it's kind of stuck in the past in a way. Like for example, ninjas, like ninja movies, we don't have as much anymore, but they're brought along with the times. So, meaning we have futuristic ninjas, we have modern day ninjas in movies, and we kind of bring it along. And westerns hasn't been the case. There's a couple here and there that I'm going to mention in my list. And one of them that's not in my list actually is Justified, the TV show. I think there's two of them. There's one on Hulu, and I think there's another one on FX, which I think they're together now or something like that. But yeah, Justified with Timothy Oliphant is one of these modern day cowboys or modern day westerns. Um, and we don't have that much of those, but we need to. Another good one was Walker Texas Ranger. But Walker Texas Ranger, um, he's been out of business since early 2000s. So um, yeah, maybe we need a new Walker Texas Ranger. Maybe that's what we need. And that's what I mean by bringing the western along to the modern day. It's like we don't have that much anymore, and I think we need that. In westerns, they're not that popular with the youth. That's what I've come to find out. They're not that popular with the youth. They're a bit too slow for them. The kids nowadays, they have a bit of attention span problem. So you need to bring it along. And a lot of these movies that I'm about to mention, they do have a slow pace and they require you to pay attention for longer periods of time. Um, and that could be the case with westerns, that they're not necessarily at the pace that the youth likes. I just saw a western that is recently made called Frontier, with Kevin Costner, and so yeah, so it was one of those slow movies, that kind of drags a little bit. And I understand that. I understand that could be a problem with movie making. Um, but in at my number five is Open Range. Speaking of Kevin Costner, this is a very good movie. I didn't mention it in my last video or one of the videos that I made recently, talking about love-based movies. Um, so So yeah, I mean, if you saw that, you know that I like this movie. It's one of the best westerns, in my opinion, ever made. Obviously, in my top five, um, it's definitely a good movie. Now there is like a romantic relationship between Kevin Costner's character and the lady here on at the picture. Well, I forgot her name, but um, I think isn't she from Angels? Like the arms of an angel, fly away, something like that. Or maybe I'm being confused with something else, but that's what I remember. But anyways, good movie. Pretty much the plot is like uh, they're cattle ranchers, but they don't want them there because they just don't want them there. They just they're the new people in town, and they just think that they're lame. They call this killer to come kill him, and then he's like, "All right, then," and it's just conflict between them. Not that complicated. It's more about the characters. It's more about the lives involved, and the stakes um, become high because of the love between these people. You know, and you kind of grow fond of these people. You don't want them to die. You want them to do well, and that's basically what the movie's working on. But in at my number four is No Country for Old Men. This is one of those modern things that I was talking about. Of course, it's not that modern. It was in the 80s. This movie takes place in the 80s. Um, and it's one of my favorite movies. It's not just a good Western. As a Western, it's this slow, but as kind of like a psychological thriller in a way. Um, it tackles certain life dilemmas or questions that people have, like why do we do the things we do? Why do we fight evil if evil is always around? What's it all for? Why am I living? You know, time, death, life. It's one of these movies that through the story, it kind of pushes these um, questions that we all kind of have in the back of our heads, and we kind of shun them. We kind of like, no, we're not gonna think about that right now because I gotta focus on my work. I gotta focus on my wife. I gotta focus on my kids and stuff. But this movie kind of puts them out there and be like, yeah, why are you doing these things? And um, Anton Chigurh, which is Javier Bardem's character, um, Javier Bardem's role. He he's one of the best antagonists ever in movie history. I mean, here's a character in Tommy Lee Jones' character who is a lawman. He is a sheriff, and his dad was a sheriff, and his dad's dad was a sheriff. And the reason they do it is because that's what they do. His daddy did it, and his daddy's daddies did it. And so then he picks up the gun and he does it. You know, um, which by the way, a good song for this movie, in my personal opinion, would be "Knocking on Heaven's Door" by Bob Dylan. Um, Bob Dylan, one of my favorite songwriters, but that would have been a good one, especially towards the end. Like, "Mama, take these guns off of me. I can't do this anymore." But but yeah, Tommy Lee Jones' character, he's a lawman, and he comes to a realization like, why am I even doing this? Because the whole time he's like, these criminals are getting crazy, and in this movie, the main criminals are the cartels and the assassin that the cartels contracted to find the money that they lost, who Rollins' character has. Brolin also spectacular acting in this movie. Um, but yeah, he finds a case full of money. He takes it with him, and they contract Chigurh and Anton Chigurh to go find the money. Unfortunately for the cartels and for everybody involved, Anton Chigurh plays by his own rules. He's not like any other contract killer. He Doesn't really care about money. He doesn't really care about fame. He doesn't really care about if the job is done or the job isn't done. He's kind of like he kind of moves through this whole movie as an entity that isn't bound by the rules that most people have. Like for example, like the sheriff, like I was saying, his rules are he's the law and he has to do something about the crime that's happening. And the whole time, like I said, he's saying, man, the crime's going up too high or whatever. And we got to do something about it. I don't know what's happening. This is a new type of threat that I can't explain. And somewhere along the line, he realizes that that's not true, that this has happened before. This is just the way life is. And then he gets to that question. If this is the way life is, then why are we doing this? Why are we even trying if we can't get rid of, this evil? And, a lot of people think that the movie doesn't come to a conclusion, but it does. It does come to a good conclusion. This movie would have to take like a whole video for me to talk about it. But I don't even know why I started shooting up. Hold up. That's my bad. I forgot I was doing this video. The point is, it does come to a conclusion. It's just not a Hollywood conclusion. The Hollywood conclusion is the good guys win, the bad guys lose, and everybody lives happily ever after, and the girl gets the guy, and the guy gets the girl. But that's not how life works. Anyways, moving on to my number, what is this, 3? Tombstone. I'm not going to spend too much time on Tombstone. If you like cowboy movies, you've seen this movie. This is a really good movie. This is actually about a lawman who wants to retire, but they drag him back in because he's that good. He's good at his job. And so they tell him, yo, help us out. This is a new town, and there's new gangsters trying to tell us what to do. And that's basically it. There's the whole drama between them and, the gangsters that live in that town. And yeah, it's just action-packed. It's just cowboy stuff. Very basic, very simple. Very good performances by all actors here. Yeah, what more is there to say? That's pretty much the premise of the movie. Definitely check it out. It's in my top 5 for a reason. This is all I'm gonna say. And at number 2, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And this is another, like most cowboy movies, they have very simple premises. They're not like that complicated. It's the characters within the simple plot that kind of give you different wrinkles and different ways of seeing the world. You got the good guy who is played by Clint Eastwood. I can't pronounce his freaking name. Who, in my opinion, is the GOAT of cowboy movies. Is the GOAT of westerns. I know a lot of people say John Wayne. I never liked John Wayne. I thought John Wayne was lame. It always seemed like he was written off a script or something. He seemed dry and emotionless, kind of like Clint Eastwood. But the thing about Clint is that, I don't know. He was just better than me, in my opinion. But yeah, this movie is one of the best westerns ever made. I'm pretty sure it's in a lot of people's top 5. the premise, of course, is they're looking for a treasure. That's basically it. They're looking for a treasure. First off, they start off the Mexican guy teams up with the white dude. So the guy in the middle teams up with the guy on the left, my left, and he teams up to make money. So it's like a heist thing going on. You know, they're making money together, and you'll see the movie. You figure out how they're doing it, and they run into a guy who knows that there's a treasure. And he tells them there's a treasure, in this grave or whatever, blah 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 blah, this, that, and the other. Um, and but the good guy, he knows where the name of the grave is. Um, and the Mexican guy in the middle, he only knows where the grave's at. So now they have to keep each other alive and defend each other against the bad guy, um, who's over here on the far right, in order to find the treasure. And that's pretty much the premise of it. But you see the way these people think. You know, they all like money, first of all, right? They all want money. So that's set in stone. But they all have different ways of getting to the money. Um, the guy in black here, the guy on the far right, he just tortures people, um, beats people up to get answers, and uses his power that he has with, I don't know, he just with the government, I guess, to get what he wants. And then you got the guy in the middle, the Mexican dude. He's always pretty much on the run from the law and from other people that he's betrayed. Um, and he just uses trickery, and he uses, the fact that he's not very wanted in the world to kind of push forward and try to get what he wants. And then you have the good guy who's, I guess he's more about loyalty. He's the one that's the least interesting out of the three. But he's more about loyalty, and he's more about um, fairness through what he thinks is fair, by the way. But it's a good movie all around. You guys should definitely check it out. Does it kind of slow down a little bit? Kind of, but not really. It's just, I like how the pace of it is just very good. The music is very good. I would say out of the ones I just mentioned, this one probably has the best soundtrack out of the bunch. So let's move on to honorable mentions. My Name is Nobody. In my opinion, some of the most legendary scenes happen in this movie. You got a final scene between these horses here at the bottom. They're coming after Henry Fonda's character, and he has to take him out. But there's just, this is definitely worth a watch if you like spaghetti westerns. The Pale Rider, right? Pale Rider, Pale Horse Rider. This is another one of these movies where there's a kind of like a cowboy entity type ghost thing, similar to Intouchable. The only difference is that this guy is a good guy on this one, and yeah, he helps some gold miners, survive. So, because they're not wanted, similar to like Open Range, where the new guys ain't wanted in the town because they're just there for a little while. They're passing by, Um, Another Clint Eastwood movie, I can't pronounce it. Sorry. Hang 'em High. Definitely worth a watch. It's about the injustices of the legal system in the Old West, and how things work, how cold and just how cold the justice system is, here in America, or how it used to be. Even, I mean, There are certain things that happen today that we don't like, but that's what this movie's about. Oh, we're not gonna do this one. We just talked about that one. Magnificent Seven is one of these new ones. It's pretty good. Yeah, you guys should check it out. It's fun. Um, yeah. My number one is Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood again. As you could tell, I do like Clint Eastwood. I think he is the goat of Western movies, in my personal opinion. Um, of course, it could be a generational thing, but the point is, he makes good westerns, and I think this was the last western that he made. You know, I believe Old Man Logan was based on this, um, which is the Wolverine, where Wolverine kind of loses his powers in a way, and he has to come back and save the day somehow. Um, and the latest Wolverine movie was based on it too. So, but the thing is, this was what inspired those movies, which is an old cowboy. He's not the same as he used to be. He's not this big bad wolf like he used to be. He's retired. He's settled down with his wife who died. And he kind of, he's kind of lost and he doesn't know exactly what to do anymore because his wife is dead. Then Morgan Freeman's character shows up and he's like, yo, I got a job for us. We got to make money. And then he's like, I don't want to do that no more because I'm not like that no more. And the whole time he's constantly telling himself more than anybody else that he's not like that no more. And there's another character on here who wants to be like that. He wants to be gangster. He wants to be, the big bad wolf like William Money used to be. William Money played by Clint Eastwood. Um, but William Money and Morgan Freeman's character, Ned, I think it's his name. They know what the life is about. They know what the gangster life is about, and they know that you really don't want to do that. And they look at this kid talking shit, and they're like, "Man, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, right?" Of course, finally, something happens to where William Money has to be William Money again, and he starts drinking again, and then shit hits the fan. There's a lot of cool lines in here, but it just shows like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and violence is part of life, whether we, don't want to admit it or not, you know, um, sometimes it's necessary. And I think this is what this movie's about. Um, anyways, guys, this is it for my top 5 westerns of all time, according to myself, according to Jay Gatto. Please let me know what's your picks. Please let me know if you disagree with any of my picks. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys.